Hey guys, what's happening? It's Jay, and what I got here is the Sony FE 100 to 400 millimeter G Master lens. Now, my friend Darren was kind enough to let me borrow this. It's an amazing lens. I'm currently using his camera as well, which is the Sony A7R III. An amazing camera, to say the least. Basically, this is going to be a really quick review. I only have a very limited time with this lens. I got to give it back today. So I'm just going to do a quick review of it. I did take quite a few photos with it though, so I have some good sample shots to show you. So first of all, this unit goes for $2,500, okay? This is the best money can buy, okay? So it's very expensive, yes, but it's the best you can get, okay? So you just got to factor that in when you're looking at the price on something like this, okay? It weighs in at about 3 pounds, so it's not exactly light, but considering the range, it is pretty light. It has optical steady shot built in, and it works really well. It has a ton of manual switches on the side for different modes and focus limiting and things like that. I'll go over that in more detail in a second. It has this really cool zoom torque ring, which makes it much easier to zoom in and out. For example, it's got buttons on the top. I mean, this thing is really top quality. So let me just go over some of the key features quick. So this lens has 22 elements and 16 groups. It has nano AR coatings in here, and it also has fluorine coating. Those are like the best lens coatings you can get. It has a direct drive supersonic wave AF motor, so the focus is extremely fast, extremely quiet. Again, the best you can get for today's standard, all right? It also has a moisture and dust resistant construction, so you don't have to worry too much about getting wet in the rain. It's not exactly waterproof, but it's really well designed in that regard. It has 9 diaphragm blades on the aperture, so you're gonna get those killer round out of focus balls in, no matter what aperture you're at. The background out of focus is gonna look very pleasing to the eye, as you will see in the sample photos. It's got a minimum focus distance of about 3.2 feet or so. On the front of this, you have a 77 millimeter filter thread as well. And this lens also has a removable tripod collar here. So you can adjust it here, and you can also remove it. So I like to adjust it to the side a little bit, like so, when I'm hand holding this way. And I'll torque it down like this. And it pretty much just fits right in the crook of your hand. And you can then zoom with your fingers here quite nicely. All right, guys, so looking at this lens a little bit closer, I just wanted to show you some of the killer features. Now, the focus ring is really buttery. It's just super silky smooth, and I always like that on lenses, so it's worth pointing out and noting. Also notice the custom buttons here that you can program to different things if you like. Focus hold is generally what these are used for, but you can use it for other things as well. And the lens hood has this cool door here. Okay, so if you're using like a polarizer filter or something, you can turn it and then just close it back up. You don't have to take the lens hood off. I will take the lens hood off though. It has a nice rubber coating here on the edge, so you don't have to worry about chipping it if you like bang it on something. And it locks on quite securely. It has this button here, which I really like to help release. It makes it easier to release, and it locks on quite snugly with like less effort. Also, the zoom works quite well on this. It's much easier to zoom than I was expecting. I recently reviewed the A-mount version of this lens, and it was much harder to turn compared to this lens. That was one of my gripes with that one. So with that said, it does have a torque adjustment here. So you can see here, this thing turns, and it makes it easier or harder to zoom. All right, so if you turn it there, it's definitely much harder to zoom. If you turn it all the way this way, it's much easier to zoom. I prefer it on the easy setting, okay? And then looking at the tripod collar here, you have this killer tripod collar. It's a very, very good design. It actually comes apart if you want, so you can just take it off. It has screws on the bottom there for multiple mount options, depending on what kind of rig you're using. It's got this nice adjustable screw here that has a lot of threads to it, so it's easy to make it nice and tight. And you can also rotate the camera in the tripod collar. So if you're on a tripod and you want to take vertical shots, you can just loosen that and rotate the lens. I'm just going to rotate it right now to go over some of these settings here. Now you have a lot of manual switches here. The mode is the different style of image stabilization modes, okay? So you got one for like panning, and then which would be mode 2. Mode 1 is just used for like regular stabilization. Then you have optical stabilization on and off, okay? You have the range limiter here, so you can limit the range. This is a nice feature, especially when shooting through fences and things like that. And then you have your autofocus and manual focus switch, okay? All right, so I just want to take this lens off here, like so. And the lens is pretty beefy, you know, it's got some weight to it, but it's not crazy heavy. So looking at the back here, you can see it's really, really high quality, really high quality. It's got like a rubber lip here, okay? There's like a rubber gasket just to help ensure that it seals properly. And that's very nicely designed. I just want to show you the back of the tripod collar here as well. And looking at this side here, notice you have your tight and smooth for your torque limiter switch, or ring, I should call it. It's more of a ring, it's not a switch. And then you have this torque adjustment as well here. That's to take the tripod collar apart. And then looking at the front, you have your optics here, and you can see super high quality. See those lens coatings on there and stuff like that. All right, guys, so I just have a couple of lab photos to go over quickly, and then we're going to show you some of the real world stuff. Like I said, I had a limited amount of time with this lens, so bear with me in that regard, okay? So anyways, in the lab scene here, just a couple of shots. This was wide open at f4.5 at 100 millimeter. And if you zoom in, you can just see the incredible optical quality, clarity, color. This is really one of the best zoom lenses I've ever used. Looking at the lab photos, it almost looks like I adjusted the contrast and all that, but this is straight off the camera raw file. So it just goes to show what those lens coatings really do. You can see just that color punch that these photos have in their raw files, okay? Like normally, like I said, they need to be adjusted a little bit to get punch like this, but when you have those top quality lens coatings and optics, you just get this straight off the camera, even when shooting raw, all right? So even in the corner, let me just zoom into the corner so you can see the sharpness there. It's remarkable. And then I stopped it down to f8 here, just to show what f8 looks like. And you could see it sharpened up just that little bit more, but it was really razor blade sharp, wide open. But again, stop down, it's just that next level sharpness, okay? Now zoomed in here to 400 millimeter, just a quick test. This is wide open at f5.6, and I will zoom in here, and you can see just the detail is absolutely remarkable. All right, so this is at f8, same shot. And you can see, again, the detail is just absolutely insane. Really, really high quality optics. And you can see, again, just the chromatic aberration and everything, how well controlled it is. Just looking at just going back to the 5.6 so you can see the coins. And again, the chromatic aberration and everything is just ridiculous. There's like nothing to report, okay? All right, so I just wanted to show you the background out of focus bokeh balls and lab scene using the quarter here. You can see it looks quite good. That's wide open, and this is at f8. So f4.5 versus f8. And then if I zoom in all the way, this is at 400 millimeter. This is f5.6. Let me just zoom in so you can see the absolute insane sharpness on this quarter, and that's wide open. I do see just a hint of fringing here on the letters, barely anything at all. These are unadjusted raw files, by the way. And here's f6.3, and here's f8, okay? All right, guys, I just wanted to show you how I had the Sony a7R III set up for the sports photos that I took. I'm sorry there's no memory card in there right now, so it's blinking, but I used shutter priority mode, and I had the shutter set to like 1/800 or 1/500th of a second. I was kind of floating it in between the two. I was using auto ISO, so the ISO adjusted on its own, and I had it maxed out at ISO 6400. All right, now if you hit the function menu, also I was using average metering mode. If you hit the function button here, you can go in and select your focus modes, okay? So I was using high speed drive mode here. So that's 10 frames per second on this particular camera. Now, autofocus continuous I was using because I was tracking moving subjects. Now, focus area. There's a couple different options here. I ended up settling on zone focus, and I put it in the center of the camera, all right? It's a little bit hard to see here, but I put that in the center area, and that worked really well. It made it much easier to track. The other option I would recommend trying is expandable flexible spot. That also worked well, but it was a little bit small, and I was having a little bit of a hard time tracking the subject with that mode. Let me just go there. You can move it with your joystick, okay? And you can see it's a little bit hard to see, but I put it in the center area, and like I said, it's a little hard to see on the screen right now. I apologize. Doing this very quickly. That was pretty much it as far as the focus settings go. So I just, at that point, I basically just pointed and shot, but I was, like I said, I was using zone center. I just point and shoot it at that point, and the camera did all the rest of the work for me. All right, so let's go show you some of the shots I got. All right, and I showed you how I had the camera set for these. So this is just a couple of shots here coming off the field. And this is my niece. She's doing amazing. Here's the referees. Here's another one of my niece. I just wanted to zoom in here to show you the detail. And these were very high ISO images. So this is ISO 6400. You can see it's a little bit noisy there, but just look at the sharpness, detail, and quality. I mean, that is just remarkable, especially for ISO 6400. So here's another shot. My nephew here on the move. This guy is just an all-star player here, and he's just running the ball down. And I just took consecutive shots here. Let me just wait for it to render. These are 42 megapixels, so it takes a second for them to render here in Lightroom. There's just a few more. That's really high quality. He's running right towards me at full speed, okay? So two friends there, they were high-fiving after the game, and I managed to capture the timing pretty well. All right. And this is just a raw file. I did play with these files just a little bit, just so you know. This one here, I did adjust the contrast, and I added a bit of a vignette here, so that's not a lens flaw that you're seeing there if you're wondering. But here is one, you know, untouched, just so you can see the raw file. And this is ISO 4000, okay? So really good quality overall. And here's just another one. And here's another one of my niece. Really cool. She absolutely loves playing football. I edited this photo, and here is the unedited version, okay? This is the raw file straight off the camera, and here is an edited version, all right? So I just wanted to show you what you can do if you spend a couple of minutes editing. And the score was 34-0. Oh yeah, go Comets. Oh, and after the game, right towards the end of the game, there was this ridiculous sunset. I just had to walk down, and I took a couple of shots, and you could see here just insane, awesome sunset. Really good quality. I turned to the vertical format and took this image just to show more layering. And obviously this lens is great for anything you're going to use it for, depending on the focal range required. So this one I fully edited, and I was really happy with the way this came out. Now here's just a few portrait snapshots I took. This is my son Jace, and you can see here he's just a ham bone. Had a really hard time trying to get a smile from him. Unfortunately the light's not in his eyes, but so this is the smile I got from him when I asked for one, and he's just like, no, I'm gonna stick my tongue out. So this is the one I settled on. This was the best one I got, and I edited this just a little bit here, but you could see the sharpness and clarity is just remarkable. I just did a little bit of skin smoothing and stuff like that. And here's another one of my niece, Allie. She's really cute, adorable, giving a nice little pose for me there. And these are raw files, guys. All right, so you can just see that clarity is remarkable. And here's a couple of Jace. Again, I was trying to get a good portrait of him, but it just wasn't happening. He was not cooperating. All right, now, shooting the high-speed dog. This is Teddy, and I just wanted to show you what kind of quality. This dog was running at me at full speed, okay? Full speed. This dog is unbelievably fast. So this is a pretty difficult shot to get, but the A7R was able to pull it off with the 100-400 GM lens. Now, obviously the A9 or even the A7 III would do a better job as far as tracking moving subjects like this, but the A7R III is quite capable, you know, so overall hit rate was pretty good considering how difficult of a subject this was. All right, so I'm just showing you a couple of the sharp shots, and this one I actually edited. I just wanted to show you, here's the raw file, so it looks pretty flat. The lighting was terrible, so I just did a bit of editing on this, jacked it up, and here's just a few more. This one I got the feet completely off the ground, and these are unedited. Again, running towards me at full speed. And here's just another one. Just wanted to show you the detail on the fur and all that. Just remarkable quality. I took the bottle out of the dog's mouth a second after this, by the way. Don't worry. Obviously, you can't let dogs chew on plastic like that. And here's just a leaf stuck in the fence. I just took these around the house quick. And this is just a basketball net. So the net in the background is what I focused on. The foreground is out of focus. And then this one, I focused on the foreground and the background is out of focus. Okay, so you can just see the ridiculous quality here. Phenomenal. Now here's just a shot off the deck. I sometimes have a bird feeder hanging off of this, but right now it doesn't look safe anymore. I have to adjust the screw, but just look at this quality. Okay, guys? Now, when I say top quality optics, that's what I mean when you're looking at a photo like this. This is absolutely insane high quality. So this shot, I just focused on the edge of the bench. I wanted to show you how the playground butters out. I mean, it turns into pure gravy. Here's the table, and now here's focused on the background. And you can see the table right here is out of focus in the foreground and the playground in the background. And here's just a quick shot of the air conditioner. I just wanted to show you the depth of field fall off. And if you zoom in here, you could just see top quality sharpness here. All the detail is there. And this is just a reflection shot looking at a puddle. And here's just another depth of field fall off shot on the deck, so you can see how the railing renders. All right, guys, so at the end of the day, I did really enjoy using this lens and camera combination in particular. Now, the A9 would be a better option if you're going to do hardcore sports, of course. Just the focus system in that camera is far superior than the A7R III. The A7 III actually also has a superior autofocus system when compared to the A7R III. However, this A7R III was able to keep up really well in the real world. I used it for football, as you saw in the sample photos, also a dog running towards me at full speed. But at the end of the day, the image quality is phenomenal, okay? And the build quality is also very good. The zoom and the focus ring just feels excellent, and I'm not disappointed at all in the quality of this product. Like I said, I wish I had more time to use it, but for such a limited period of time, I did put it through its paces quite a bit. I can definitely tell you with confidence that this is a phenomenal product and you are getting what you pay for, all right? So again, if I get the lens back in the future, I will do more testing with it, but for now, that's really all I can do, like I said, with the limited time I have. So again, I really hope you got what you were looking for in this quick Sony FE100-400 GM lens review. Please feel free to ask questions below. Be happy to answer any questions you might have. Big shout out to Darren. Thank you very much for letting me borrow this equipment. And I might have to hit you up again for the next football game. All right, buddies. I'll catch up with you next time. Take care.